Good evening and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I'm the host of this show, a show that's dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So, we're going to be doing a bit of a pop album tonight. So, welcome to Monday night's look back at a classic rock album. This album barely makes the classification for classic album. It's about 16 years old now. We're talking about The Who's Endless Wire. I remember when this album came out, I was really surprised because I thought, it'd been more than 2 decades, about 23 years since The Who had released an album from the studio. In fact, only half the members are still alive, so I thought, you know what, they'll probably never do another one. No reason to. I mean, they got enough money, they liked to tour live, they weren't really a studio album kind of band anyways. I think they only have 12 in total in over 50 years. Mind you, they've only released 2 in the past 40 of those years, so they weren't a really prolific album producing band, but stuff they put out was really good. I don't even think of them as having like really super powerhouse albums. They have 2 or 3 that are good, really good, and maybe Who's Next is a master album, but the rest of them are just like 1s, 2s, so on down. But it's their live performance that really makes The Who. But anyways, we're not here to talk about The Who in general like that. We're here to talk about this particular album, which is called Endless Wire. So I'll try to give you the rundown of the vital statistics of the album first. First of all, it's called Endless Wire. It was released October 30th, 2006, more than 23 years after their last album. Was recorded at Pete Townshend's home studio and Eel Pie Oceanic Studios, so it kind of both places. About 52 minutes in length on Polydor and Universal Republic. Produced by Pete Townshend with Bob Pridden and Billy Nichols. So that's the vital statistics about the album itself. Personnel, people that played on the album. Okay, so The Who, as you know, are the 2 surviving members, Roger Daltrey on lead vocals, and Pete Townshend, which plays pretty much everything here but the scrub board. Guitar, vocal, bass, drums, keyboards, piano, violin, banjo, mandolin, and even records the drum machine. So very much involved in the production and the making of this album. Wrote all the material, played just about everything, and produced the album. So it's not really much else for other than singing, which he left to Roger. Okay. The Who's principal musicians, the main guys in the band, John Rabbit Bundrick, who plays the Hammond organ and the backing vocals on the album. Simon Townsend, who does backing vocals. He usually plays bass on the tour, I believe. Pino Palladino, he plays bass, and Zach Starkey plays drums, but and coincidentally, he only plays the drums on the Black Widow Eyes here. The main drummer is Peter Huntington, who plays most of the drums on the album. But again, when they tour, Zach Starkey and Simon Townsend are playing instruments in that band on stage. Also, other musicians on the album: Billy Nichols, Lawrence Ball, Vicky Matthews, Jocelyn Dixon, Stuart Ross, Rachel Fuller, Gil Morsley, Brian Wright, and Ellen Blair. All these play various things for the albums, to put the album together. So then we have basically the tracks. Now, this album isn't just the album. So, of course, most of you who are Who fans probably have this album. It's been out for a lengthy bit of time. It's a pretty solid album. It comes with a CD I believe it's, without counting offhand, I think it's 17 tracks. Yeah, I believe there's, oh, I'm wrong, it's like over 20 tracks. Just surprised me. And then it also comes with this Live at Lyon with, if you see it, you'll see that it's got Live at Leeds with the Leeds crossed out and Lyon in there. It's a white disc, see, right there. So anyways, it comes with a booklet as well. If I can get it out, show you a little bit. This is the booklet. It's a pretty nice cover. I think it's nice. Basically just all the lyrics, of course, are in here. Different colored pages. Like lots of lyrics. Pete Townsend just loves to write, man. He loves to write. Yeah, that's all basically it's in here. I think, yeah, yep, it's all lyrics. The rest of it is credits, of course. So about the album itself. So I got it when it first came out, immediately. As soon as I found out it was out, I went and got it. I didn't know what to expect because, of course, The Who hadn't released an album in over 20 years at that point in time. I thought Roger Daltrey's voice was a little suspect, real scratchy, and didn't sound the same to me at all. Wasn't really that great of a voice. The album itself has got good production. It sounds good. The musicianship is pretty good on it. Some of the tracks are really good. Fragments is okay. A Man in a Purple Dress is probably one of my 4 or 5 favorite tracks on here. And a song I still like to listen to. Really, really good. And I think this may be the best vocal performance by Daltrey on the album. Mike Post theme, I think that was the first song I liked. I like it. It's not too bad. In the Ether, another good track. Black Widow Eyes, it's okay. 2,000 Years, I like that one a lot as well. God Speaks to Marty. Marty Robbins, pretty interesting track. It's Not Enough. Yeah, it's okay. You Stand By Me, I don't mind that either. That's pretty okay. Sound Round, not too great. I don't care for that one too much. Pick Up the Piece, it's okay. Unholy Trinity is probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. I just love it. Obviously, when they wrote this, it was with John Entwistle in mind, and I think that's what they were referring to when they said the Unholy Trinity. Endless Wire, good tune. Fragments of Fragments, also not bad. We Got a Hit, interesting takeoff on getting a hit. Pretty good song. We Made the Dream Come True, and Mirror Door, and Tea and Theater. A lot of these songs, the last 2 songs on the album are basically extended versions. We Got a Hit and Endless Wire are both extended versions. So basically, a lot of the tracks are similar to the album that just came out a few years ago. A lot of retrospective towards their career and talking about themselves, and they're basically doing that type of thing. This one isn't as organized. This album isn't as organized as the one that came out recently. And I think this one isn't quite as good as that one. But when it first came out, I liked it a lot. I listened to it a lot, and played it in my car all the time as part of my playset for a fairly lengthy time. Same as the new one. Not new one, but the most recent one. So I compare those two because they're the two that have just Townsend and Daltrey on it, and are fairly close in release dates, although not really, over 15 years between them even. So they did one after 23 years, then waited another 12 or 13 years to do another one. I hope we don't wait that long, because it'd be in their 90s. I'm hoping they'll do at least one more, because I've enjoyed both of them. This one, pretty solid. Now the second part of this that comes with it is the live performance, which is pretty good. It actually shows them at a later stage in life. Now, by this time, they're in their 60s, and they do play. What are the tunes they play on this live thing? Let me see. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. So they do play. I think they play 5 tunes on this live from Lyon. I can't explain. They always do that as an opener. Pretty standard, and they do a good job on it. Behind Blue Eyes, I thought was really well done here. Mike Post's theme, which comes from this album, pretty solid song. Bubba O'Reilly, of course, and then of course Won't Get Fooled Again. Although I don't think Townsend did any jumping or flying through the air or anything. That probably wouldn't fly very well with his family anymore. Anyways, it's a pretty solid album. If you haven't listened to The Who since the 70s and you think, well, it's over, why bother? You're missing out here. Like I said this about the Who self-titled album that came out in, I think it was 2018 or 2019, one of those years it came out. I thought it was a very good album. In fact, I've now it's been about 3 or 4 years. I would go as far as to say this is their 3rd or 4th best album. That's a lot. This album here, maybe not in quite that heady praise, but definitely ahead of some of the stuff in the 80s for sure. And I actually like this more than Tommy. I know that's probably blasphemy, or the other 2 60s albums. I like this more. I think the production is the reason why. The production of this album is, of course, vastly superior to any of those 3. I also was never a huge fan of Tommy. I found it very... it lacked a lot of instrumentation, which seems to be... It wasn't heavy. There was a lot of gapping in it, and I didn't really like that. And there's a lot of... I really think of it as a story. You can't really yank pieces out of it because then it just doesn't make any sense. So, at any rate, it's a pretty solid album. Well worth the purchase, and you get the video as well. If you're haven't been listening to The Who, give this a shot, man. And then once you've listened to this, go get the other one too. You'll like them both. So, anyways, there you have it. The Who. Endless Wire. Up to date with The Who in 2006. So I like it. I think it's a great album, but I'm partial because I love The Who. So there you go. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think of the album. What do you think of The Who since the turn of the century? Whatever you want to talk about. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this show, and you have yourself a good night.